This is Going Under, Anesthesia Answered with Dr. Brian Schmutzler. I'm Vahid Sadrzadeh. We are brought to you by the Butterfly Network.
The Butterfly Network. All right, I'm going to let you in on something that's completely changed the way I practice. I've been using Butterfly probes for years. It's a portable ultrasound that plugs directly into my compatible smartphone or tablet, so I can start scanning at the bedside in minutes. If you use the older version, or even if you're new to the handheld ultrasound game, let me tell you why this new IQ3 is a game changer and really impressive. First off, having an ultrasound that literally fits in my pocket means I can move faster, whether it's vascular access, procedural guidance, or just getting real-time insights for my patients. And the tech inside this tiny device is incredibly impressive. Biplane imaging lets me see short and long axis simultaneously, which is huge for procedural guidance and also for learners. The new needle out of plane preset even shifts the scan plane digitally, so I can see the needle tip sooner, which makes a real difference when precision matters. And the image quality, honestly, the IQ3 holds up against some of the high-end cart-based systems I've used, and that's impressive for something this portable. If you're looking for a device that supports your practice, I can't recommend the Butterfly IQ3 enough. And right now, they're running a special offer. You can get $750 off the latest IQ3. Check it out at butterflynetwork.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good to be back.
Absolutely, yeah. Special episode here, just because, a lot of stuff going on.
A lot of stuff going on. It's midsummer. We're still going to be probably breaking until, I would say, August-ish.
Yeah, mid-August probably.
But something just passed Congress.
Last week.
Right, that is on July 4th. That is and was and still is controversial because it was really divided. We didn't really know where it was going to go. And then once it was signed, we're like, let's do a podcast on it because I think it's really important in terms of the medical community.
Yes, I was going to say that. I am no expert on this bill. I am just trying to delve into what I know, which is the medical side of things. So my goal is to give you a little bit of detail on the medical side of things. And I'll do this the way that I do everything that's controversial. Here's the positives, here's the negatives. Yep.
So take that away.
Don't
exactly. think it's just one-sided.
Exactly.
We are covering both sides here. So we're talking about the big beautiful bill, obviously that passed by a margin of 218 to 214.
What is the one big beautiful, the OBBB?
OBBB.
Yes.
And included in that, so we're not talking about the taxes. We're not talking about any of that stuff. We're talking about...
I am no expert. Neither one of us are an expert in that, so we're not going to get into any of that.
We are going to talk about how it has an impact negatively and positively on the medical community, particularly in like small towns, hospital system, physicians, and of course those on Medicaid and SNAP programs.
Right.
And so let's just get into it.
Sure.
What is it covering in terms of the bill, and how is it positively and negatively impacting the medical community?
So I think the biggest change is going to be in how Medicaid is distributed across states, how Medicaid is instituted, and all that sort of stuff. So let me first preface with, as with any large bill that's thousands and thousands of pages long, the devil's in the detail, right? So it's not necessarily what's actually written in the bill, it's how it's implemented. Because these bills don't take into account every possible scenario. So there's going to be a lot of implementations things that will really matter. And so what probably is going to matter more than anything is not that you live in the United States, but what state you live in and how they implement these changes. So that's my preface. So the bill basically addresses a lot of issues with Medicaid. I think we can all agree, everyone in the medical field and even outside the medical field, Medicaid is a totally broken system. I mean, Medicare is not much better, but Medicaid is a very broken system. So for those of you who don't know, Medicare takes care of the elderly, meaning those over the age of 65 receive Medicare. Medicaid, for the most part, takes care of those who can't afford to take care of themselves. So we say that Medicare takes care of the elderly, Medicaid aids the poor. That's kind of the acronym, or the what we learn in medical school.
And 71. I just want to read the stat here. 71 million people
are on Medicaid,
reported to be on Medicaid, which expanded under the Affordable Care Act.
Correct.
And 40 million use the SNAP program.
Gotcha.
That's according to recent data.
Yeah. And so probably the highest percentage of people on Medicaid are children of people with lower incomes, right? So basically, unless you're on an employer program, most kids are on Medicaid. So that being said, how is Medicaid initiated? So the federal government supplies money for Medicaid, but the states are the one who administer Medicaid, who decide what the qualifications are, who decide all that kind of stuff, right? So it's a combination. The federal government pays in a percentage of monies to the state Medicaid, and then Medicaid distributes it as they see fit. So again, I think the biggest thing is going to be what state do you live in, right? So in general, Indiana's Medicaid program is pretty well allocated and pretty well administered. There are some other states, and I won't necessarily name them, that are way leveraged with the number of Medicaid people they have and don't have balanced state budgets, so they're already in debt. So there's a lot of issues that come in there. So what does it do? All right, well, it changes the qualifications for Medicaid, right? So there's and I can't remember all the exact specifics, and so I don't know if I call this a positive or negative, right? I'm just laying out what it is here, because again, it's how it's instituted. So if somebody in good faith looks at it and says, yeah, you have to do, and I think the requirement was over the age of 20 or 18 or something, you have to do 80 hours per month.
So the package.
Sorry, go ahead.
So the package includes a new 80-hour a month work requirement,
or volunteer, or you can do anything with those 80 hours. It's just you have to do something that contributes to society with those 80 hours.
So those are for the adults receiving Medicaid and food stamps, including older people up to age 65. Parents of children 14 and up,
correct,
would have to meet the program's new requirements. And while I'm at it, there's also a proposed new $35 copay,
correct, yeah,
that can be charged to patients using Medicaid services, which previously
was not. Correct. So those are pretty fundamental changes. And again, do I agree or disagree? If you're able-bodied and you can get to work or volunteer, and it doesn't say it has to be a specific volunteer, specific time. I mean, that could be, from what I'm hearing, that could be even going over to your neighbor's house and raking their leaves can count towards your 80 hours. So I don't think that's completely unreasonable. So that's number one. I think there is a push to remove those who are not American citizens from the rolls. Again, I'm not making a comment whether that's good or bad, but I think that's part of it as well. But I think it also, the biggest thing that it does is it shifts the majority of the onus and financial issues to the states. Mm-hmm. It takes it away from the federal government, moves it to the states. You could argue that's good. You could argue that's bad. Again, in Indiana, we're a pretty fiscally responsible and stable state. I don't think you're going to see a huge impact in the state of Indiana. Mm-hmm. There will be states where there will be big impacts.
But under the Trump administration, not saying bad or good,
sure,
under the Trump administration, that is how these medical decisions have been trending, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Under the state's legislation and decision-making power to make these kinds of decisions.
Yeah, Trump is much more of a states' rights guy in terms of policy that he passes.
Right.
Now, his bluster is not so much that. But in the terms of policy pass is states' rights. So the state wants to do something, great, the state can do it. So I think that's probably one of the biggest issues. Now, there's a lot of discussion about how rural hospitals are going to lose funding and there's going to be a loss of access. So I would say in some ways, yes, in some ways, no. So I think in general, what the bill shows is that there's less Medicaid money probably going to go around because less people are going to qualify. Less of that money is going to be supplied by the federal government. And if the state doesn't make up the difference, there's going to be less money in Medicaid. But critical access hospitals are funded via a different mechanism. So these are hospitals that are smaller than, I think, 26 beds or 27 beds or something like that, and serve an area that's underserved. So, for instance, in our area, Bremen Hospital is a critical access hospital. We know the president there very well, and he actually came out on the news here and said, we're going to be fine. This is not going to cause any interruption in service. We're doing just fine. This won't change anything. So I think you have to separate out those rural and small community hospitals that are maybe 75, 80 beds versus those that are critical access. So it's probably actually, because of the way there's some shifting of funding, it's probably actually better for the critical access hospitals. than the current system, and probably worse for the small community hospitals and the rural hospitals that aren't critical access. There's also a shift in the provider tax. So the provider tax gets reduced. So I'm just reading.
Is this
here.
under? Yep. Is this under physician owned, or is this just in general?
In general.
Provider
tax.
Provider
tax, a funding mechanism supporting Medicaid provider payments, drops from 6% to 3.5%. This downturn tightens hospital budgets indirectly, potentially impacting operating room. So
budgets are falling 3%.
2.5%.
2.5%.
Yeah. So that's less money out of the provider's hands. I'm sorry. Yeah, less money out of the provider's hands into the hospital hands. So there's more money to the providers. Again, positive or negative, depends who you are. If you're somebody supplying care, if you're a physician or an advanced practice nurse or something like that, probably better. If you're a hospital and you're counting on that money, probably worse. So one thing that I think almost everybody could agree with is a positive thing is the Medicare physician payment doc fix, right? So there's something written in the bill ever since the mid-90s when a certain first lady decided she wanted to get into the healthcare game. Every year, the federal government is supposed to decrease what Medicare pays physicians and advanced practice practitioners. They almost every year, except this last year, of course, and the year before, have said, all right, we're gonna ignore that. We're gonna write a amendment, and just this year we're not going to deal with it. Well, the past 2 years they've cut back the reimbursement to physicians. This one actually creates in 2026 a 2.5% increase in Medicare payments to physicians. So good news for physicians, right?
And I know you've had some guests on the show that have talked specifically
about the doc fix.
The doc fix, even previously before this was passed, about what that could mean. And so if you're a physician, that's
significant.
That's significant.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, if you bill out, let's say your practice bills out $1 million, 2% decrease, which is what it's been the past 2 years in a row, is still significant money. And a 2.5% increase is really big if you've gone down 2% and then now you're up 2.5%. So.
Does that... I mean, we've talked before about how healthcare is shifting, right, to, less family practice kind of systems, and more, this kind of entrepreneurial,
correct,
out of pocket kind of system,
direct care,
direct care. Mm-hmm. Does this put momentum back into those kind of clinics and systems, or, do you still see long-term? Because we're sitting here in 2025 right now.
Correct.
How long to implement these for states in general?
I think they have to start implementing it right away. Yeah, I think by 2026, January 2026, they have to be implemented. So I think the issue is that most direct care providers don't cater to the Medicaid population, right? Because these are the direct care providers are people who require some sort of payment,
right? And
most Medicaid patients don't pay anything, right? They don't pay anything for their care during the visit, and they don't pay anything for the Medicaid itself. So I don't think that's fundamental.
But Medicare.
Some Medicare do, because everybody over 65, there's no income requirements for Medicare, right? So you could be a multi-billionaire, is Jeff Bezos over 60? If Jeff Bezos is over 65, he still can get Medicare, right? So it may affect Medicare patients, but not Medicaid patients for the most part.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think it'll be very interesting to see how each state does it. But I think it's without question something had to be done, right? And I think you can make the argument on the other side that the Affordable Care Act, as much as we disagree with parts of that and, agree with parts of it, and as much as we disagree with parts of this and agree with parts of it, there had to be something done because the healthcare system is breaking. Now, was everything done that needed to be done? No, of course not. And was some of it good, some of it bad? Yeah, same thing. But at least it's an attempt, in my opinion, to move the needle a little bit on the federally funded healthcare system.
And not only the healthcare system, but
you're talking about SNAP as well.
Coincidentally, SNAP benefits. Currently, the federal government funds all benefit costs. So under the bill, states,
Right.
beginning in 2028,
Okay.
will be required to contribute a set percentage of those costs in their payment error rate exceeding 6%. So payment errors include both underpayments and overpayments.
Yeah.
So the Senate
It's a lot of
bill,
complexity. There's a lot of complexity.
right? A lot of complexity in this, but in general, people who disagree have been very vocal about this particular part of the bill.
Well, it's the same thing though. It's moving their financial responsibility back to the states. So if you're a state that has a balanced budget or has a surplus, this isn't going to hit you as hard as if you're a state who runs a gigantic deficit every year. Again, in Indiana, probably not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
In other states, probably more of a big deal. I do want to make the point though about SNAP. So I agree there needs to be a safety net. You know, especially kids, they need to make sure that they have meals. SNAP makes sense. What doesn't make sense is what's covered under SNAP, right? And we can talk about it. I think we talked about this before.
We did little bit a couple months ago.
Yeah, the American Heart Association sends a lobbyist down to the state of Texas when they're talking about changing what's on SNAP. And that guy argues that we shouldn't take away SNAP's payments for sugary cereals, sugar sodas, candy, all that sort of. The American Heart Association.
What is the argument for that? Is it easier to get a hold of those items?
So
or
what's my opinion, or what did he say was the
maybe
reason
both?
He said it. So what he said is the reason he said it is because those are densely packed calories, and for people who only have a certain amount of food, it makes sense to get densely packed calories. I think that's a red herring. I think that the AHA, the American Heart Association, is in the pocket of big food, sugar, corn syrup, all that kind
even
of
though
stuff.
they're going touting or whatever.
Yeah, they're saying, we care about your heart health. I mean, what is the most inflammatory, dangerous thing for somebody with heart disease? Sugar, of course. And you're promoting, oh, no, don't take away their candy and they're empty calories, as I drink a cheer wine, which, by the way, cheer wine, had no idea. I was in North Carolina. It's like cherry Coke, but better. So
yeah, it's flavorful.
It's great. Yeah.
Packed with a lot of flavor.
Packed with a lot of flavor and a fair amut of sugar. But,
that's right.
I'm counterbalancing with a sugar-free tea.
So. I think it is so the balance, right, of where the line is drawn.
Sure.
Yes, American Heart Association does some great things, but where's the money going?
Right. Where's the money coming from?
And where's it coming from?
Right. I mean, who's supporting these, right? I think I heard something that Cadbury. We talked about
We talked about Cadbury.
Cadbury is the biggest funder of the American Diabetes Association. I can't imagine why that would be. Oh, maybe because you want to buy that company for them not to say Cadbury eggs cause diabetes, right? Don't eat so many Cadbury eggs. So, I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of shady things that go on, I think.
Well, I'm excited to see the comments because I think we're going to get a lot of
some comments.
There'll be some comments on this episode. We'll try to obviously get to every one of those comments, but the facts of the matter here are the bill is passed. Right. It's up to the states to implement these bills. Now they have to.
Right.
But what does the state look like in the first place?
That's the biggest probably thing. And the other thing I would say, I would caution everybody not to take a stance, positive or negative, until we see how it works out. Same reason.
Talk to your lawmakers.
Right.
Talk to your state.
Same reason we didn't take a full-on stance. Even the AMA didn't take a full-on stance on the ACA, on Obamacare, until the implementation started, because this bill is thousands of pages long, and all we're doing, what you and I are doing, we're not attorneys, we're not lawmakers, we're looking at it and just taking somebody's interpretation from it, right? But once it gets implemented, you'll see how it actually works. So I would caution everybody not to freak out too much either way.
Yeah.
Hey, this is the best thing ever. Hey, this is the worst thing ever. There's probably going to be a lot of things that work well and a lot of things that don't. But I also think it's disingenuous to say taking the Medicaid program and modifying it to make it less dysfunctional is a problem, right? This may not be the right way to do it. I don't know yet, but Medicaid is a huge issue and needs to be fixed. So,
And this
and
is
SNAP too, but
this is a shameless plug, but actually yesterday, one of the local stations did a full 30-minute interview with Governor Mike Braun.
oh, nice.
So I'm going to link it below.
Yeah.
And usually the station is very kind of what we do,
Right.
both sides of the issue. And so it's a good conversation, but they do talk about these SNAP benefits if you live in the state of Indiana.
Yeah, and what did they say?
Well, I think Governor Braun took the stance of it's up to the states.
Right.
And our state, you're not going to really see much changes.
Right. Because we have a surplus.
We have a surplus.
Yeah.
This in particular.
Yeah.
But don't take my word for it. Listen to the full interview. I'll link it below because it's a good one.
Yeah.
And he gets into a lot of those issues. So, I mean, and that's the way to do it, right?
Right.
Talk to your state reps.
Yeah.
Listen to what they have to say.
Yeah.
Listen to what, local leaders have to say about it in your community.
This is why local government is so important here too, right? Because that person who lives 5 doors down from you, that's your state senator or your state representative, they're the ones who are going to decide how to deal with this change. So yeah, that's somebody that's right. It's not like, who are our senators? Senator
Rudy Yakum. No, he's Congress.
Yakum's a congressman. Anyway, it's not like your federal guys who spend a lot of their time in Washington.
We should know these
guys. Yeah, we should. I still remember when it was like by.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, well, Braun was a senator.
Yeah, Braun was a senator. Yeah, before he became governor. Yeah. So
it's Todd Young.
Todd Young, yes. I wanted to say Rokita, but he's the AG.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's Todd Young, but there's another one. There's 2 senators. So I mean, these are people that you can talk to, and you can say, hey, don't take away my SNAP benefits, or I still want my cheer wine. Like
Well, and to be honest, I mean, whatever side you're on, there again here in town, you have people going to their local congressperson's office every Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what they believe in.
Open hours.
Yes. Yep. That's what they want to discuss. So, I mean, they're not going to turn you down to not chat with you.
Yeah. And Rudy Yakum's been I've seen him on a plane 10 times probably.
We saw him together.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He's a very affable guy. He'll talk to you. So,
yeah.
I would also say, and speaking about Medicaid, so up until last year or the year before, so we don't get paid well by the government by Medicare, but we were paid half that amount by Medicaid. So you're talking about, it was about $22 a unit. It's $20 a unit now for Medicare for anesthesia, and Medicaid was like $11. So finally last year, the year before, they bumped up Medicaid reimbursement for anesthesia to what Medicare is. What else is interesting, and this is another shameless argument for the state of Indiana, dentists and dental anesthesiologists, so dentists who become anesthesiologists for dental cases or head and neck cases only, they can negotiate with Medicaid. But I, as a physician, MDDO, can't negotiate with Medicaid. So the dental anesthesiologists are making way more money from Medicaid cases for the anesthesia.
But why is that?
Who knows?
Who put that into place? What does it protect?
So what happened was the dentist said, we don't do emergency care. You can't force us to take Medicaid. So either you pay us what we deserve, or we're not taking it. They can find somewhere else to get their teeth done because that's not an emergency. The unfortunate thing is that I have to deal with emergencies, right? So I can't say I don't take Medicaid. I guess I could, but it would be much harder for me to say I don't take Medicaid and Medicare as it does dentists. So that's what they've done. That's what they've done with the insurance companies too. So that's why when you go to the dentist, you pay that bill up front, and then you submit to insurance, and maybe they pay you back, or you get some small deduction. But essentially, you're paying for your dental care, and then it's between you and the insurance companies to get the money back. It's not how it works in medicine.
Yeah,
so.
and we said it before we came on the air, and before we came on the podcast, and I'm gonna say it again as we go out of the podcast. Sure. We are not experts. Yeah. We are strictly, giving you the facts of what is included in this bill, how it's going to affect positively and negatively for those in the medical community.
And I would call us highly competent in the medical community, and the way this may affect the medical community, and the way implementation can affect things in the medical community based on this bill, but certainly not experts in the bill itself.
No. So read up on it is what we're saying.
And if you can understand it, read the bill itself. I tried.
There is a lot of complication.
It's a lot of words. A lot of words.
Summaries help.
Chat GPT, right?
Yeah, right. All right. Well, we're brought to you by the Butterfly Network. But can you show off your belt bag?
Sure.
The Butterfly belt bag.
Now available.
So I love this thing, by the way.
Well, we can do an unboxing later, I guess. But no. So this is great. So it's actually
hold it up just a little bit.
Sorry. Yep. So it's actually a little pack that you can put around your
fanny
waist.
Pack.
Well, I don't know that we're allowed to say fanny pack because I think
is that an official thing? Okay,
I think that's trademarked. But it's a pack that you put around your waist.
It's similar to something like that form factor.
Yes, correct.
Where you can put around your hips.
Yes, correct. And then it's got several pockets on the inside. You can't see that very well on here. And you can actually put the Butterfly IQ3 in here. You can put your cords and your charger here, clips around your waist. So it's like ultimate portability now. So.
And you know I'm a bag nerd.
Oh, there we go.
So I know exactly that is a 2-liter bag.
Is it?
Yep. Okay. 1 or 2 liters.
2-liter bag.
It's either a 1 or 2 liters. It seems taller. Does it say on there?
No, it does not say on here.
It's either 1 or 2 liters. I can definitely tell because I own a lot of belt bags.
And it's got a very solid clip on it.
Love it. We'll do an unboxing.
Yeah, we'll do an unboxing on the.
What's in your Butterfly belt bag?
My Butterfly will be my Butterfly belt bag. In fact,
nothing else.
Nothing else. No. I mean, all the cords and stuff for it. Maybe a small iPad or a phone in there.
Yeah,
I might be able to fit a mini in there.
If you could, so you can do the Butterfly with your phone
or iPad. Yeah, either one. Yep.
So you could do it with. So you could just put everything in there. Wallet. You're ready to roll.
Ready to roll. Yep.
Awesome.
Around your fanny.
Well, we are brought to you by Butterfly Network, and thank you all for listening and watching. Of course, Dr. Brian Schmutzler across all platforms here, YouTube. Check him out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and
everything
else, and the website as well. So,
and please comment on this one.
Yeah,
I mean, like we said. We're just talking about what we perceive as positive and negative. We're not endorsing or unendorsing this bill, but give us a shout. Let us know what you think about our conversation today.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one, which would be probably 4 to 6 weeks.
That sounds about right.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you for the next season of Going Under, Anesthesia Answered with Dr. Brian Schmutzler and Vahid Sadrzadeh.